this is part 2 of the introduction demo of the Technology Foundation collapsible wrapper custom component. In the previous video, we talked about the different features behind the custom component, the ability to designate whether the header should not show, should show, or if it should show conditionally. What you'll see if we choose that the header should not show, all the properties go away. We have our standard rendering conditions. You notice that we don't have the extra conditions because we're not showing conditionally. We do have context because we're within a pop-up. If we say yes, then we designate whether we want it to be not collapsible, initially open, or initially closed. We also can choose the model. We can configure our actions, and also in our rendering, we have our standard rendering conditions, and we have context. If we choose conditional or conditionally, we have the ability to choose our model, set up our styles and our advanced, obviously, our actions then before we open, the first time, after we open, so on and so forth. In the rendering, we now have the ability to configure the collapsibility or the state, if you will, of the collapsible wrapper. And again, if none of these conditions are true, then we will not show a header at all and configure the context. The last thing I want to demonstrate as part of this tutorial is how the API for the collapsible wrapper works. So if you are familiar with jQuery, and you can look into the or you can inspect for all of the collapsible wrappers on the page. By looking for components with a class TFG collapsible wrapper. The other thing that you can do is look at and inspect the state of the different wrappers. So by looking at a specific wrapper, for example, so we have a wrapper called Basics on this page, we can look to the state by using the jQuery plugin or the widget, if you will, called TFG__ collapsible wrapper, and calling the state method. You can see that we are open. And also decide we want to close it. So by calling the close method on the collapsible wrapper, you can close it. You can obviously also open it. You can detect if it is open, if it is closed. And more generically, you can just toggle it. The toggle will go from whatever it is to if it's open, it'll go to close. If it's closed, it'll go to open, or you can force it open or close by calling close or open. The other feature that the custom component has is that it's always listening for 2 specific events, and those events are leveraged by these buttons, the expand all and the collapse all. So by publishing an event using the action framework called tfg.openWrappers or tfg.closeWrappers, any collapsible wrapper that is collapsible will respond to the events that are published. So we can expand them all or collapse them all. So by collapsing all, everything closes. By expanding all, everything opens. So there's various APIs and ways to interact with the custom component, either by using the jQuery plugin widget, by TFG__ collapsible wrapper, and calling the specific method on that wrapper, or by just publishing the event if you want to close everything or open everything. So if there's a specific wrapper that you want to open, you would just use standard jQuery and open it. And if there's a specific one or a group of them, you can close it. That's all for the tutorial. I hope you enjoy the custom component. Appreciate any feedback anybody has. Thank you.